You're watching All To Play For, brought to you by Joe and Coral.
Hello and welcome to All To Play For, brought to you by Joe and Coral. As usual, it's me, Steve Sidwell, and of course Joe Cole. Joining us today is a former teammate of both me and Joe. Someone who's got an absolute wand of a left foot. Someone who's revered at Villa Park, Upton Park and Ewood Park and also Anfield, and considered a living legend up at the Boro. He's a great lad, top man. Ladies and gents, please welcome Stewart Downing. Stewie, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, mate.
How was that for an intro?
Top draw. Top draw. That was better than I thought it was going to be, but I'm happy.
Look, Stewie, let's go right into it. You made your Boro debut, quite similar to Joe at a young age.
Yeah.
The dressing room then, I mean, look at the names here. Gareth Southgate, Ray Parlour, Jimmy Ford, Hasselbank, Janino, yes.
Yeah.
What was it like going into a senior dressing room with them players?
It was a bit daunting. I was a bit in awe of players, especially Janino, because I'd been a ball boy, watched him obviously coming through. But I think once you meet Ray Parlour, and with people like that, you're all right. And Ray sort of took me under his wing a little bit. Like,
did he?
You know, took me into Yarm, if you know Yarm, back up in Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Had a couple of nights out. Went to races a few times and stuff with him. So them lads are great. They've had great careers, but they're also good, good professionals. And they took us. I think it was David Murphy at the time, if you remember him, played for Birmingham and Hibs. Me and him came through at the same time into the first team, so we got well looked after by them senior pros.
Yeah, right.
What was Janino like?
Great lad.
Great lad, yeah?
Great lad, yeah.
What was his thing like? Because he just kept coming back to Middlesbrough. You couldn't get him away from it, could you?
I think
was it 3 times he come back?
3 times.
Wow.
Yeah. By the third time, he obviously had a bad injury, so he left under relegation. You remember 1997, and then he went to Atletico Madrid and broke his leg. Had a bad break before the World Cup, I think.
Yeah.
And then he came back on loan, and then he went back, and then he sort of like went a few clubs, I think, and then he came back under Steve McClaren.
Yeah.
So I think when Steve signed him, I'm not really sure if he wanted him.
Really?
Sort of a club thing, get the fans on side. It was like because he never really played him that much.
Yeah.
And come towards the end, he got a bit annoyed. He wasn't playing, and you could see he was frustrated, and he'd lost that little bit of pace again. But he was an amazing player for.
He won the World Cup.
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
He seems low key, low maintenance, but most Brazilians, as we know, love a party. Could he find a party up in the north?
He must have. I played with a few Brazilians, and like you said, they love a party. I was only young with Janino, so I don't really know, but he was a great lad around the place. Loved training. He always had a smile on his face. No ego about him or anything. He just, like I say, he come to Middlesbrough could have went to all the top clubs in the country, and he came to Middlesbrough because he loved it. The fans loved him, and he was sort of the hero growing up. Everyone loved Janino. He was the man, and he was a top player. Like
them type of players are not. They're gone in like the cult players, like.
Yeah.
That was an amazing era, the '90s, because you had like Ravanelli popping up at Middlesbrough and Janino and
unbelievable.
Everyone had him. Carboni was at Bradford. Everyone had a little magician and a maverick
sitting people down.
Yeah. Oh God, I love Janino.
Joe Cole, West Ham.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go. Look, you enjoyed actually some success at Boro, winning the League Cup 2004, reaching UEFA Cup 2006.
Yeah.
You lost the UEFA Cup, didn't you? 4-0.
Yeah.
Right. So, what was your memories of that sort of time period, but especially that Europa League or UEFA Cup run?
The run was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think I'd just come back on loan from Sunderland to get into that sort of squad for the final for the Carling Cup. That was the start of it, really. When we won that, I was on the bench. Still sort of a fan, really, like a young player. I'd only not played a lot of games. And Steve obviously was starting to build the team. I was on the bench, starting to sort of make my way into the squad, if you like. And then the next season, Mendieta got a bad injury, and he put Bolo's ended inside one, and I got a chance on the left, and sort of the team started to just sort of go, really.
Yeah.
I think we finished 7th in the league that year, got the UEFA Cup final, and it just went from strength to strength. Like I say, it helped me. I was sort of the only young lad playing in that team full of experience, and it was an amazing run, really. We beat some great teams along the way. We sort of on the crest of it. But come to the final, it was more like we just thought Seville were beating us 1-0, or we can just put all the subs on and get it back and win. But we met our match that night. Like I say, there Danny Alves, who was sort of not unknown, but before he went to Barcelona, I think Canute played, Saviola.
Oh wow!
Did you play against Danny Alves in the final directly against him? How hard is that, geez?
I tell you about. Do you ever get the documents Steve McClaren used to give before the game?
Yeah.
Tell you about so if you're playing against Joy, skillfully, he can take you on all this. So Danny Alves, someone done a report on him the game before. I don't know who done it. I think he must have had a couple of beers, but he's gone not the quickest. Can be beat 1v1. I'm thinking happy days. I'm buzzing here because I'm sort of direct. And I thought, happy days. So first couple of minutes, I've gone down the line. He's just put his arm across me, strong as hell. And then I thought, I can't outpace him. He's quite quick as well. I'm thinking, who's done this? And him and Jesus Navas played down that side that night. Imagine the pace and the power of him. And it was like an eye opener. I just thought, this is a different level. And he was unbelievable. I think he whipped the ball in early doors for the first goal. He was an amazing player, and then I think he went to Barcelona. They might have won it back to back. I think 2 years won it, and then he went to Barca. Yeah.
When did you come up against Danny Alves?
Brazil, England, Brazil.
Oh.
It was horrible, mate. It was horrible. Like,
was that 06 at
really?
Wembley?
Yeah, I
You
think
started,
06, 07, yeah, I started.
Was you marking him rather than...
No, I was marking him. Pointless. I might have been a left back. I might as well have been a left back. I didn't touch the ball. I didn't...
Athlete, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was like... Just like, it's one of the only times in football I'm just like, I've run out of ideas here.
Yeah.
I've tried to pop him side.
Yeah.
I've tried to track his runner. I've tried to pass him on. I've tried to... I was like, oh, what can you do with this kid? And he was young then. Like, he wasn't the player we knew.
Yeah.
I was like, straight away, this kid's going to be unreal.
Yeah.
Why was he so good?
Well, he had like, first of all, technically, he was as good as any sort of attacking midfielder, like with the ball at his feet. So he was faultless as a fullback. He was faultless. He could run like no other. Like he was quick, like Stewie said, but he wasn't just like quick and then he'll take it. He was just going again. He just didn't stop.
Yeah.
He didn't stop. He's the hardest fullback. When I played on the left, which I only really did for England, I played on the right or middle for Chelsea. But when I played on the left for England, it's the hardest game I've ever had for England. And I was like, right, I think it might have been 07, so he was still a top player.
Yeah.
But not the player we know now. He was unreal, mate.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was just different. All fullbacks are just stayed in the position. Didn't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Gary Neville's then were good fullbacks. They were just right backs. He was like a right back, right winger, right wing back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Eye opener.
You mentioned Steve McClaren earlier about, I assuming how articulate he was in terms of the documents that he gave you before games. What was he like to work under in general day to day and then building up to games and in games?
He was a fantastic coach.
Yeah.
I think he brought my game on a lot because I just, as an out-and-out wing as a kid, you just think, stay wide, get the ball, which it was them days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cross the ball, but he learned me like tactically out in possession, also in possession as well, finding different. So I thought he was like, ahead of his time a little bit at that time because we come from sort of Brian Robson was a little bit, no disrespect, a bit old school way.
Yeah.
But he was really, really good. I think people say he might struggle man management with older players, but I didn't see that. I was just a young player, and he was good with me, give him my chance.
Was he one of the ones that do you think was better as a coach than he was as a manager?
Yes, I do. I mean, I had him both during my England career, where he was a coach, and Stewie said he was a great coach.
Yeah.
He used to come out. I used to actually, like, he used to come out early. He was very bubbly, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he used to come out, and I used to be on the pitch early, and we do two-touch with him. And he's the biggest cheat at two-touch I've ever seen. Like, when you're playing two-touch, where you go like take a touch and then you pass it back, he'd like volley it into you, and like it'd be there, and you'd be diving to get it, bang, and then you give it to him, and it was like 6 inches out. He wouldn't move. He'd go, my point. I couldn't beat him. He was good.
He was actually good. Yeah.
And I was like, he should frustrate the life of me. He was like, Steve McClaren's an unbelievable two-touch player, but he's a cheat. I used to beat him. Like, I used to go into training raging because I couldn't beat Steve, and I could beat anyone. But he just had this way, like he just that big teethy smile, and he'd like, it's my point, and you'd be like, you can't really argue with an assistant, can you?
No.
All right. So anyway, it was brilliant.
Talking of England, Steve McClaren goes to England.
Yeah.
Gareth then steps into the management. Was that how easy or difficult was it for you as a player seeing a teammate go into management? Is it hard?
I think probably more harder for him. I think for us, I was 21 at the time. I just carried on, thought, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And we were quite close to him as well for a senior player, and I was young, but obviously he was the leader of the dressing room. Really. He was sort of McClaren's management, really, of that dressing room. He kept everyone in place, and so it was like a natural thing for him. But when I speak to him now and ask him about that time at Middlesbrough, he was like, I went in with no sort of philosophy, no tactics, I was just going in blind. He still had a year to go on his contract, so you think of that now at 35,
tough,
that's
isn't it?
tough.
Yeah.
But I thought he was really, really good. When I look back thinking, I couldn't imagine myself doing that. It was like a big job for him, but he was class. He was like quite attacking at the time. Like I say, we had Viduka, Yakubu and these goal scorers, so I think that helped him. But then over the years, if you watch him with England, he's gone not defensive, but more the wing back system, the three at the back.
Pragmatic.
He's changed. Maybe Steve Holland's a big influence on him.
Yeah.
But I look back and think, for a young manager going in, I thought he handled it quite well.
What if that was his direction to go into coaching and managing when he was still playing?
Yeah.
Because he's got, as you say, he got thrown into the coaching sort of role. And is that the case of him going, actually, I quite like this. As you say, he's got into it blind.
I think you talked to Gareth, and he says, didn't he? He's quite been open about it. Middlesbrough, when he took the job, he was looking back now, he wasn't ready for it. But I think a lot of with management, I think you've just got to take your first steps. Isn't it? It's like jumping into a freezing cold swimming pool. When you just learn how to swim, you've just got to do it. Right? So I think he's done that, and then he's come out of the game, didn't he? And he said, I remember him actually. It might have been when he was at West Ham.
Yeah.
And he was with the England under-21s. And because I played with Gareth with England as well. And we was training at St George's before a game, and he's coming over to watch us do set pieces. And I was just chatting to him. He's going, I just like, and he was just soaking it all up. He was like, yeah, if the team stays here, I'll go and watch just in case. So he had that 2-year spell when he was sort of out of the media a little bit with England, learning, and then he's come back and he's done an unbelievable job. He just looks so at home on the sidelines, doesn't he? Like, and it's great. A young English man. He's not that young now, but he's brilliant.
Yeah. He loves learning as well, doesn't he? He does all the sort of goes to the rugby scenarios and out to the States.
Have we talked about in a pod when I bumped into him in Miami and I gave him my England team? Have we talked about that?
I've heard this story. Yeah.
Have I told about it?
No, let's throw it out there.
So we was in.
I can tell you've had a few sherbets.
Yeah. He's so it was like one of them conventions in Miami. I was there to watch the Super Bowl on the Jolly Up, and we have mutual friends. And it was a convention. There was, all the big hitters, all of the what's his name, the fella, Marginal Gains, and all that. The cycling guy, Brailsford, and there was guys from the NFL, and they all get together and they do conventions in Miami. It's all great. And I thought, and I've had a few bevies, and I've just said to him, right, Gareth, I'll look after you, son. I said, this is the England team. This will win you the Euros. So he went, all right, this is in the bar after we've had a meal. But I've been drinking all day.
This is the build up to when?
To the Euros.
To this.
So just before the Euros. So I've gone, I said, this is how we're going to do it. Given I'm there, I'm across the bar. I've moved everyone's beers out of the way. I've gone, right, we're going to go with a 4 at the back. And I've gone, right, I can't even remember the team. I've gone, right, we're going to go Carl Walker, Harry Maguire, blah, blah, blah. I'm going, in midfield, we're going to do this. I'm getting right into it. And he's just sitting back watching me. And everyone's sitting back, and I'm like, I'm enjoying myself. Yeah. And I'm going bang, and I said, and that's the team that's going to win the Euros. He went, he said, that's a fair team. He said, but you've got 12 players. I went, oh, Gaffer. I said, you're right there. Just checking you're on it. Just checking. Marginal gains, I said to him.
I bet you had a back 4 and 7 flared players up top.
It was flary. It was very flary.
One of Gareth Southgate's previous teams, Aston Villa. Boro got relegated. Yeah. You got your move to Villa, where I was a teammate of yours. Yeah. The first thing I remember about you when you signed, well, not the first thing, but when you play against Stewie, you realise how good he is. But then when you get someone, you see him train every day. Yeah. I'd go as far as saying that Stewie was up there with the likes of like Steve McClaren or Giggs, like running with the ball. I used to call him a glider. Like he would run across grass like Jesus would walk across water. Like with ease. Yeah. I mean, changing direction, just.
I paid him as this.
No, definitely. And when I went, so we were together at England, but when I went to Liverpool, when you come in at Liverpool, it's like you took on. Not to jump ahead, Steve, but you're right. You'd gone on another. Stephen. You'd gone on your peak of your powers. You was like, you're right. You could just glide past them old-fashioned wingers, wasn't it? You just used to sit people down. Was that something you worked on, or is it something that you was always natural to you, Stu?
I think it was naturally quite fit and like an up and down wing. You remember the old school wing? It was sort of, getting your shape, wasn't it? Stay wide, get the balls in the box, and I think the teams I played in, especially the first team, I think at Villa, it sort of get wide, the Heskies, Carews, get in the box, Yakubu, Hasselbank, they wanted delivery. So I think it was only in the later years when the game started to change and the wingers played on the inside, I had to sort of adapt. But I was an out-and-out winger basically. Hook the touchline, get half a yard, like I said, beat people. And I think once you obviously get you slow down, injuries obviously play a part in that, don't your body and stuff like that. And but the first, probably until I got to Liverpool really, where I had to start sort of adapting my game. Yeah,
I used to hate it. Not that I played much for Villa, but when I was, I'd have him on one, I'd have Stewie on one wing, Youngie on the other, Gabby up top. So there was no chance for me to get in the box. Before you know it, they're gone. John Cruz, you cheat and just wait for that ball to go in the box. But Martin O'Neill was manager. You couldn't do no wrong, was you? You was his blue-eyed boy.
I don't know what. I think it was Youngie was his boy, wasn't he? I think Millie. To be fair, I think he liked
the hell of a team, by the way. There.
Yeah, we did. When you look back, I think at the time you just sort of take it for granted, don't you? When you look back, we had a good counter-attacking team, a lot of pace, a lot of flair. Young, but then good back four, didn't we?
we went wrong. I think it was the second or third season that I was there. So what was that? 2009, 2010, where I think it got to March and we was about 10 points clear of Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right.
And then by literally the first week of April, they was 2 points in front of us, and we was out sort of the top four.
Was that the semi-final when you played Chelsea?
That was the year that we played Man United in the League Cup final, and
Chelsea,
played Chelsea in the semis.
At Wembley, didn't it?
Yeah, and it was same. That was the common theme, wasn't it? The joke with Martin Mills, same team, same subs. He used to come in. There was no rest for the rotation. It was just the same lads all week in, week out, and they just kind of ran out of steam.
Yeah.
Hell of a team. Do you think both
underachieved?
Do you think you underachieved with that team?
Yeah, we did.
By the names.
Looking back, we had 2 players for nearly every position. Stevie Warnock, Shawry, that side, Luke Young, Queller. We unbelievable depth as well when you look back. But
the lads playing at the top of their game, like Stewie was on top form, Ashley Young was on top form, Millie was on top form. I think Gareth Barry was still there the first year.
Gareth gone. I got his number. I got his.
Oh right, yeah. Then you had obviously Brad Friedel in goal, Danny at the back with Ginge. You know, it was up top Heskey, Carew, Gabby. It was a strong team. Look, the sort of last season, but I think before you left, you cleaned up on the awards, didn't you? You sort of won fans player, internet player, players player. Did you feel
internet
like he won a lot? Literally cleaned up.
That was me voting myself.
He might as well have had his chair up on the stage and just stayed there collecting it. Did you feel like at that time there you was at your best? That season just before you left to go to Liverpool?
Yeah, I think so. I was full of confidence. Yeah. I think I was, through my career, I was like a confidence type of player, and it's a bit of a strange season because, as a team we struggled a little bit, didn't we? Obviously changed with Gerrard and coming in, obviously Martin leaving right on the eve of the season, and then Kevin McDonald came in for a little bit and done all right, didn't he? And I thought he was good. So it was a bit of a difficult season, but personally it went quite well for me, and I thought, I got back to full fitness because you remember when I signed I was injured for the first 6 or 7 months. I just felt I got my speed back, my sort of dynamism sort of thing, because the first couple of months I was struggling a little bit, trying to get fit and just trying to get into the team really. And then like I said, personally scoring goals, assisting goals, I just felt really good that season, and obviously I knew it'd come back into that season that Liverpool wanted me, and I knew obviously Villa was struggling, they were going to sell players. I think Ashley Young was already geared up to go to Man United when Millie had obviously left. You could sort of see the pattern, what was happening, and I don't know if it was something happening upstairs with the owner Andy, and I just thought, I need to keep playing well personally to, if I'm going to move on and get a chance to go to Liverpool, I have to keep playing well. So sort of like the team, we got over the line, didn't we, back end of the season, but I think personally that was probably one of our better seasons.
What was it like when that conversation between you and your agent was like, look, Liverpool were interested? Was there any other clubs at the time looking, or was it as soon as Liverpool were the ones that you knew that was like, right, that's the one I want to go to? It
sort of happened after that January window. There was a little bit, Kenny took over Annie from Roy, I think, and he wanted players in, but obviously they got Suarez and Andy in, and then come the summer it was sort of, they wanted to get me in, but I had to keep playing well and stuff. So, and then right at the end it was actually Damien Kamolo who told me that Arsenal wanted me because he knew Wenger, but there was sort of a pattern that Nasri had to be sold for money to, that's the way Wenger worked, and I think it was 25 he was leaving to get me for less than that and then to make a profit, which is like sort of a business. But I remember Nasri played against us the second game of the season. He didn't end up leaving until the last day of the window, so that would have probably fell through, I think, for me. But I'd already made my mind up. I wanted to go to Liverpool. I said they were on the sort of the up, there were investment and the team was building, so I'd already sort of made my mind up. But I was still obviously proud that obviously Arsene Wenger wanted to get me. But
question to both of you. Liverpool, iconic club, massive club. What was it like? Because you both went there, playing. You were not playing at the top of your career at the time, but you were still, playing very, very, very well. You're playing at the best of your career. So you're both going there with confidence. What's it like stepping through the doors, going to Anfield and going to be a Liverpool player?
You probably more than me. You obviously had the pressure of Chelsea, so you're probably used to it. But I wasn't sort of used to that. Villa was, we were good, but we sort of finished sixth. We'd done well. Liverpool finished sixth is not good enough, really. I found that scrutiny sort of bit, they're on top of you, they've obviously paid a lot of money to get you there, so I found that sort of difficult the first couple of months. Maybe it affected me, sort of performance. I was a bit up and down, I hadn't scored for a while and stuff like that, so I let it sort of get to me a little bit, where I should have just carried on my Villa form and just thought, this is why they bought me. And to be fair, not till the end of the season, when Kenny started to say to me, I brought you in because what you did at Villa, just keep doing that. But and that's what I thought, why didn't I just do that? But I was overthinking it, maybe the scrutiny of it, the pressure of it.
How old was you then going to Liverpool?
26.
You see, I think as well, I went to Chelsea at 21, and I think having 21, you're a little bit more. Bit more fearless. You don't. I didn't understand it. Like if I'd have sat there realistically and thought, I'm going to Chelsea and they're signing Veron on the same day as me. They've got the top scorer in Italy's coming. The two top scorers in Italy, Mutu and Crespo. Damien Duff, who's just been brilliant at the World Cup. So and I would have thought, how am I going to? But just ignorance really. So I didn't bother me. I went in, bang, done it, and. But then when I went to Liverpool, I was 30, 31, I think, maybe 30, 31, I don't know. So it was like. But my legs, my knee was gone. I could probably have still played more in that team, but as soon as when Stewie come in, they were going in a different direction. They want younger, hungrier players coming into the prime of their career, and I was effectively ushered out. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes, you've been at clubs yourself when they've done it to you. Sometimes it's just like there's not a lot you can do. Do you know what I mean? And it didn't help. I kept breaking down. So anytime I got momentum, you know what I mean. So I was trying to chase down. Stewie was playing one side. We had Raheem Sterling developing on the other. Who else was there, Stewie? And sort of them wide areas. There was
Barini came in.
Barini come in. Suarez,
Raheem, Jordan Ibe would have been.
So there was lots of competition, and me being the one that was always looking to get out the door. Every time I got fit, you know what I mean? They'd be like, hamstring, bang, back to square one. But Stewie come in, and after the first 3 or 4 months, you start. I think it was a game in Europe. You scored a worldie, didn't you? In pre-season, but you scored a worldie. We won 1-0, and then you sort of career sort of went. I felt went like that. Was that? Am I right in saying that you went?
Yeah, that was under the. You'd gone loan the first year, the second season under Brendan. Yeah. I think with Kenny, I was up and down form, and then obviously Brendan came in.
Was you surprised when Kenny? Because that season, you got to 2 finals. League.
I wasn't there. I was in Lille.
He was at Lille.
I was in France.
Yes, but was you surprised then that Kenny was gone and Brendan took over? Yeah, was it a shock to the dressing room?
I think it was a little bit. I think the league, obviously, we think 7th or 8th, obviously wasn't good enough. But to get to 2 finals, obviously, quite good. Obviously, Chelsea beat us on another day. We could have beat them. Andy Carroll had a great chance at the end. I think Petr made an unbelievable save. Yeah. If you win that game, then you win 2 trophies.
What a save that was!
Amazing. It would have been amazing. We won the Carling Cup, but the league, I think, was the one where the Americans were obviously the owners were disappointed in. I just think the amount of money they give him, the amount of time they give him, didn't feel right. And was he just the sort of stopgap when you look at it? And they were looking elsewhere. But I was surprised, I'll be honest.
So Brendan comes in and he plays you left back?
No, at the start he played me first game of the season, and I just didn't get a feel that he was sort of having me, wanting me. He obviously wanted to bring his own players in. He brought Barini in, who played on the right, and I was I know I was a left foot, but I played a lot on the right. Yeah. And I could sort of see the signs coming, and then he sort of binned me for a while. And then he pulled me in and said to me, it's not going to work for you here. But it was October.
Really?
And I was like, well, the window's gone in August and I can't move till January. I don't know what you want me to do. There's not a lot I can do. Like, you could have told me this a month ago. So we had a little bit of...
I had that conversation as well.
Yeah, and then obviously he dug me, Jordan and Jose out, and they had the 3 envelope thing, and all this was going on, wasn't it? And I thought, I can see the sort of trend here. And then he just... we didn't speak for a while. We sort of not fell out, but it was a bit frosty. And then I was just training, getting on with it, thinking I can't do a lot. He just pulled me and just said, I think in the modern game, the way we play with attack and fullback, I think you could play as a left back. And I think he was starting to get annoyed with Enrique a little bit. He was up and down, and then he just threw me in and just said, right, I'm going to play left back. And I'd done 10, 15 games at left back. Did all right, to be fair.
Yeah. Was that Upton Park?
No. Played Upton Park left back.
I remember,
And then we got an injury and I ended up going right wing. No, I started right wing and ended up going left.
That's it.
And you come on and scored the winner.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit like thinking, I know I'm playing left back, I'm in the team, but this is not really what I want. I'm not at an age where I want to play left back, I want to play higher up. And I just sort of gained his confidence as the months went on, I think. And then he put me back to right wing, and come the end of the season, I was playing well. Yeah. And I was doing well, I was playing every week, and like you said, there was Coutinho, Suarez, all them were there, Sturridge, and I was sort of fighting with them, and I was playing, and he did like me, but come the summer, it was, the owners and Ian Ayres at the time was saying, you're free to sort of leave, and West Ham want you. But Brendan's telling me he wants me to stay, and I'm thinking, surely the manager's having a word with this. And I just got mixed messages, and I just thought in the end, you know what, I can't be in the same position next season. So that's why I ended up leaving and going to West Ham. Looking back, I should have probably done another year. Yeah. But I already made a decision. I just wanted to play, to be honest.
Yeah. Brendan was at Chelsea when I was there, and when you was there working under. You worked under Brendan at Liverpool.
Liverpool,
So what you're saying there, Stewie, he seems like he can have a one-to-one conversation and he can be truthful, but I mean, a lot of players have said, there's a bit of arrogance, which you need as a manager, I suppose, but is he bordering on a line of that sort of trustworthy conversation one-to-one to say, listen, you're not my plan, this is where I'm going. But then, as you said, he's chucked you back in when he kind of needs you.
Yeah, I didn't get. I'll be honest, I didn't get full trust from him. I just had a feeling like, I think if you play for sort of Sam, Martin O'Neill, you know, these type of managers who were sort of truthful, straight to the point. So, you know, could be brutal at times, but I quite like that because he knew where you stand. Like, if he's telling me he wants me to stay, and then ENS telling me they want me to leave, I'm thinking he must have agreed. And then Aspas and these players came in, and the only reason I say I should have stayed is only hindsight, because he brought them players in, he never played them. And remember Luis Alberto? Remember he brought him in?
Yeah.
And these were sort of the guys who replaced us, but he never played them as well. So I think I should have backed myself to think I can play.
Yeah.
And I didn't. But then again, I went to West Ham and had a great time. But
I think clubs went through a general. I had the same similar thing with Brendan. Like, you know, not quite. I think he. So basically, I was on loan at Lille. I had a good season. I wanted to stay at Lille. Bumped into Brendan in a restaurant in Spain, and he said, "Listen, Joe, I know what you can do. Come back to pre-season, and we you know, because obviously he was youth team manager at Chelsea." Yeah. He's like, "Okay, great." So I've gone back to pre-season, and I genuinely thought I'd never pull a Liverpool shirt on again. I thought, that's me done. Like, it just didn't work. Gone to France, this worked. Let's stay there. Back, I loved it. Went back, started training, had a good pre-season. Got into that European game that you scored.
Yeah.
So got into that was the first game of the season, wasn't it? Over, I can't remember where it was. And
Angie, wasn't it?
Bang, strap, hamstring's gone again. Like, you know, like first, once she's done first 5 minutes, the first competitive game of the season, bang, gone. So I'm sitting there, and then the league started 10 days later, and Brendan's gone and pushing me. I'm like, not pushing me, asking me, and I'm a player, and a side player. Can you? It's his first game for Liverpool, by the way. He wants, you know, I suppose I was an experienced player at the time. I'm like, I see what I can do.
It was Gormel, wasn't it? Gormel.
Yeah.
That was it.
So I'm like, I trained the day before the game. I know you're not right, but I'm on the bench, and we go to West Brom. I think Stewie starts.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
We're losing 3-0, aren't we? And he's thrown me on. First run, bang, gone again, hamstring. I was like I'm distraught. I'm like, because I've had a year where I think I've overcome the injuries. I had a year in France where I was fine. So then Brendan's pulled us in the office, similar thing 2 days before. 2 days before the window shuts, you got to go. I've got like a tear in my hamstring, and I'm like,
yeah, thanks.
You've told me 6 weeks ago you know what I can do, and now you know. I went, all right. I said, listen, I'm not going to go. No one's going to take me now with this, so we're going to have to wait till January. And then we had a 3-4 month spell where I was training a lot, played okay in a few Europa League games, but it was always bitty. You know, wasn't quite right. And then that West Ham game when you played left back, my deal was already done to go to West Ham, because that was like the late end of the thing. The only reason I was playing was because we had so many injuries. Yeah. So he thrown me in, bang, scored, and then he wanted me to play because we had injuries again. 2 days later against QPR, I'm thinking, if I do my hamstring again, I'm not.
Look after yourself.
So I'm like, so I was like, anyway. Things happen, family things happen. I couldn't play anyway in the game, but so like, there was mixed messages. But I think that's a sign of the times of the club at the time. There was you had the new owners coming in, who was buying the players. You had the new manager. So and I sort of, I'll give Brendan a squeeze on that sense because he was a young manager going to a big club, and it must be hard to manage up. You're telling to players. But I think probably now he'll be a better manager, and he'll just say, Joe,
he's learned.
You're not for me. I think your legs are gone. Go and find yourself another club. And I think that, like you said, we as players, you just want honesty.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I think he probably would handle it better than he did.
Yeah. Talking of avoiding and something that needs to be done, we spoke earlier about Billy Sharp.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it. Like,
I've seen it.
It's it really hit home, because especially after doing the Frankfurt game at West Ham, where there was a pitch invasion, and I ain't seen one for years, and you don't realise when you actually see it, you think, this is carnage. Like anything can happen now. There was in Frankfurt, there was dogs on the pitch, and I was thinking, UEFA, there was no massive statement from UEFA about this. Do you know what I mean? And then we see 10, 15 days later, Billy Sharp, who's a great lad, by the way. We work with him at BT Sport. That can be dangerous. Siddy, if that happens...
So for the people that are obviously listening, this is Nottingham Forest versus Sheffield United playoff final. The final whistle's gone. Fans run onto the pitch.
Cowardly attack. And when he hits him, and he gets stitches, Billy, but... If that happens in a city centre on a Saturday night, all over, you can die. Something bad can happen, and the FA need to step in and do something. They need to. sanction the club for not controlling it, because it's the responsibility of the clubs that effectively they get paid a lot of money through television money. You need to make the players safe, the players welfare. I just think too much in this country. It's like like with Jack Grealish, it's going to happen every now and then. Can't happen now. And it takes one idiot to run on, hit someone in the wrong spot, and someone could lose their life or having a debility. It's not on, like, and it's so cowardly. I don't know what it's.
It was shocking, man. I think he's lucky probably that he's only just got stitches, like
especially blindsided.
That force with a headbutt as well. It's like going with a weapon, really, isn't it? It's, like,
it's actually happened to me before.
Really?
It was the game when Boro, when I was at Brighton, and Boro got promoted on the last day of the season.
Right.
It's scary that when you're on it.
It's actually on YouTube. There's swearing in this. I can't say what was said. Right.
Hitting City's all right. Okay.
Right. Listen, West Ham. Look. Time for West Ham 2013. Proper northern lad. What was it like coming down to the big smoke? Listen, when I was at Villa, you used to go down to the smoke a couple of times, and like your times down there. Did you adapt well to it being down at West Ham?
He loved it.
I loved it. I did love it. I'll be honest. I think it was what I needed at the time. Like I said, I come from Liverpool, sort of an up and down period. So, the dressing room was quite quiet, wasn't it?
It wasn't good.
And I'm one of them. Obviously, you got to get to know people, and it was quite hard at Liverpool because they're all quite quiet and. Obviously, the Stevie and Carroll were good lads, but then when you were at West Ham, everyone sort of like was in together. It was like proper team effort. The staff, even Big Sam, the buy trips we had, all them was unbelievable. And like I said, the big smoke, it was just an eye opener. Lad from Middlesbrough coming up and.
Nobes was great for that when he in terms of being a captain in the dressing room, and Kev as well. Kev and Nobes.
I think he hammered me the first day I got there.
Yeah, he did, mate.
I can't repeat what he said to me, but
Mark Noble.
Just like straight in front of all the players, and I thought
his face went. Oh, you talk to each other like that, West Ham?
What did he say?
I can't repeat it.
Was this in training?
Yeah, it was training, but I thought, I might have to get used to this. This is not usual banter. But we got on really well. Like
schoolboy banter, wasn't it? Schoolboy banter.
We had a really good squad, and I loved it. I'll be honest, I absolutely loved it.
Because we had Matty Jarvis on, didn't we? A few podcasts back, and he was saying that when Sam's in charge, it was that sort of right. I've got Andy Carroll up front. I need two wingers that's gonna just get balls into the box.
Yeah.
Was that the sort of the key for you signing to say, listen, just do what you've been doing at Boro and at Villa when you was playing your best stuff?
He more or less said to me, the Villa, I want the Stewart Downing at Villa. Obviously Liverpool, the way they play is different. I think you have to sort of adapt. I want sort of that way of playing. If it's, I don't say old school, but get it, why get in the box, Andy. But Andy obviously didn't play a lot. But he did mention to me that I think, he said, obviously I was there for 4 years, but I only did 2, but he said coming down the line, I think you could end up as a midfield player, you'll start to lose your pace. And I thought, he's actually thinking ahead. And he's like, when I get the sort of settled team I want, and I play 3 in the middle, I think you could play left of a 3, but that'll be more in the long run. But because of injuries and Andy didn't play, I sort of got fast-tracked in the middle, and he sort of played me at the top of a diamond, and he in that system, and it worked quite well.
You said about the squad that we had at Villa. That was some squad you had at West Ham then as well, in terms of some of the players that you had.
It was some top players like Stewie, Andy Carroll, Kev Nolan, Mark Noble. But it was, I felt it was a small squad. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a big squad. It lacked depth, and it needed a little bit more players to come in. Like when we lost Andy, we was playing like with Modibo, weren't we? Maigo, he's a lovely lad and that, but he probably wasn't gonna get you more than 10 goals a season, or maybe not even more than 5 goals a season. So it was a bit of lack depth. And
Sacco was good when he came in.
But
he was sort of an unknown, wasn't he? Like, I don't think Sam really knew a lot about him. David Sullivan sort of brought him in.
That was after me. That was after my time.
What was it?
Sacco. But like I said, but Stewie, the fans at West Ham love Stewie because of, he come in and he's that type of player that gets them off their feet. And he's, like I said, when he first came in, he still had that jink and he could go by players that the fans took to him. And I'm assuming you loved London life.
I did love it. It was just perfect. Like I said, I love going. It was one of them where you get home, you can't wait to get in the train. You don't sort of get them feelings. I know it sounds probably a bit cringy, but I used to love it. Like I said, you go in, as soon as you hit the train again, it's just banter, isn't it? The lads are hammering each other. I had to get used to it a little bit the first couple of months, but after that, I was probably the worst for it. I loved it. I just thought we had a good squad, good team, and that probably made us do better than probably.
I always say that if you've got a good squad, good dressing room, that then gets you points in games. That can get you 10 to 12 points a season, either digging yourself out or getting out of a draw to get a win.
Talking about that, it's harder to cultivate that now. With a modern game where players are on their phones all the time. James Milner said something. He tweeted or something funny about they just won the FA Cup, and he was like, the lads are on their phones and that. Do you know what I mean? And like, so it must be harder to get that camaraderie with the young lads together. We still had it there. Do you know what I mean? It was good. And we had Cole and Cole. The great Cole and Cole. Love him.
Everyone loves.
Everyone loves. Friend of the show. I think he's been on a couple of times, over the years. Yeah, we love Cole.
Right, Stewie, time to talk Premier League. Arsenal look to have squandered their chances for the Champions League with defeats to Spurs and Newcastle.
Yeah.
Strange one. Granit Xhaka's comments after Newcastle. I can't. I'm going to ask you: is he digging his squad out there, or is he generalising it to say we're not good enough?
Well,
he's kind of.
It's reckless.
Lacking balls, isn't it?
It's reckless, whatever way you look at it. There's an unwritten rule as footballers. We say, you can say what you want in the dressing room, but once someone puts a microphone in your face, you're positive. And like for Granit Xhaka to say it is ironic because if any player, I think, listen, he's a good player. He's a top player. He's an international footballer. But he's let that club down on multiple occasions with ill discipline. Which is the same as, and it's very generic to say, we just bottled it. So, the young players at Arsenal, particularly English young players, have been fantastic. Smith Rowe
carried them on.
They've carried that club, and I think players like Xhaka, for him to be captain of that club and not have the emotional intelligence to think he can just vent to a camera, that's the worst thing. I understand his frustrations because they didn't turn up and they did fluff their lines, but if I'm his manager, I'd be furious with him. I don't know what you think.
No, I just think, like you said, if he's in the dressing room and he says that privately and he goes, listen, we need to do better, or even if you're having a go at young lads to sort of toughen them up if you like, then when you go to the camera, you sort of, if you play the game, you need to be better, you understand that, the players know that. You can sort of dress it up, but I'm guessing he probably didn't say anything in the dressing room. He's gone out and just sort of threw him under the bus.
He hasn't got the emotional intelligence, because in actual fact, I've watched a few Arsenal games recently, and he's actually been in good form for Arsenal recently. Of late though, he actually has been probably one of their better players as well. So has that got to his head to say, as if to think,
say something.
I've been a good performer of late, but he's forgetting, as you say, he's been. He's cost them as well.
He's been the captain of Arsenal, hasn't he? At times, and then he's always done reckless things, shouting at the fans. Do you know what I mean? Would you be as players? You've been frustrated sometimes with fans getting on your back, and you want to vent, but that's you have to just control your emotions. And I think it just sums up the last 4 or 5 years of Arsenal, that quote there, because it's always something like a media storm, a quote, when really and truly the nuts and bolts of the performances. I watched the game. Newcastle were better, from front to back. Arsenal and Arteta, you have to give him credit for what he's achieved since he's been there. But like the Tottenham game as well, I watched that when they went down to 10 men, and he carried on playing that way. And I'm like, you could see it. It was like watching an accident. He's like, you're going to get caught here in Tottenham. It could have been 5, 6, 7-0. So I mean, bad form from Xhaka, and he needs to learn from that. You can't dig out your mates in public,
no,
and your teammates. You need to do it in house.
Just staying on Arsenal, one quick question: will they look at this season as a failure in terms of, especially of late, in terms of them being in position to be top 4? At the beginning of the season, you would have said, incredible what they've done, really. But now of late,
bearing in mind, Sid, it's been 4 years since they've been in Europe. So
I thought they'd get fourth. I said early on in the season, I think Arsenal get fourth. When they started to come good, not at the start, I don't want to jump on that, but more like Christmas time, I thought they've got momentum, they've started to find rhythm. I think that when Tottenham were obviously struggling a little bit, I thought Arsenal were going to get fourth, and with them young players carrying them, I thought they've done brilliant. But it's an hard one, isn't it? Because now we look at it and think, they've missed an opportunity there, so it looks like a failure. But you've still got to put on that they've got young players, still learn the game. A lot of them haven't got a lot of games really under the belt as experienced players. So I think it's a little bit, Arteta might just come back from it and think, we're still building here, we're still, next year we've got a really good chance. So I wouldn't lose faith if you're Arsenal fans. I think he's still done a really good job.
Okay. Very quickly, Liverpool obviously got the result in midweek, goes to the final game of the season. Top and bottom, who's going to win out of Liverpool? Who's going to win the title? And who's going to go down out of Burnley, Everton, and Leeds?
Is this the competition? This ain't the competition.
No, it's not the competition. Just a general. So who's going to win the league, and who's going to join Watford and Norwich?
I think City will win it. I think everyone's trying to get emotional with Stevie, and we were talking about it earlier about the game, and all they could do is a favour. But I think if you look at it, they're a stronger team. I think every time you think they're going to slip up, they just batter a team like Wolves away. You think, oof, and they sort of went to town on them. I think City will just
City.
City.
And to go down?
I worry for Leeds.
Can I wait till after tonight?
No.
All right.
I worry for Leeds. I just think the injuries. I do hope they stay up because a couple of mates will play for them. But if you're being honest, I think the injuries have killed them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Stewie there. I think Leeds will go down. But I want to put an asterisk on it. I'm going to put an asterisk on it. If Everton don't win tonight, then they're going to have to go to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could... It's amazing, isn't it? It's so tight.
Yeah.
But
it's great, isn't it? We've had this for a while.
Yeah.
Look, let's give you some Coral odds. Arsenal face Everton on Sunday, just as Joe said, in a must-win game. If you think Everton will nick a 1-0 win, Coral will give you odds of 18-1. If you think Leeds will come from behind to beat Brentford, Coral will give you odds of 11-1. But this one, look at this. If you think Steven Gerrard's Villa will do Liverpool a favour and beat Man City 2-1, Coral will give you odds of 50-1. It's not bad, is it? Villa 2-1.
Yeah, I think that's not bad. There'll be a few scousers having a punt on that, won't there?
There will be. Right, time for the Super Series. It's the Champions League final. Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Going to ask you both 4 simple questions. Quick fire answers, okay?
Right.
We won't reveal the scores because that will be done in the big showdown next week in the live show. So, Champions League final, Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Who will win the game?
Liverpool.
Okay. Who will score the first goal?
Liverpool.
Player?
Oh, right, okay.
Mane.
Ooh.
Salah.
2 bankers there.
Yeah. Well, I've got to, haven't I? It's tight down to the wire. I can't be
Benzema, really. They could go 1-0 down.
No, they won't.
Right, how many corners in the game?
9.
He says that all the time.
I'll go 8.
He's clever. He knows. He knows how the game works.
How many cards? How many players will get carded? How many cards?
Cup final.
7.
If it's 3-0, which I think the tour's going to be, I'm going to throw that out there now just for a little cherry on the cake for my predictions.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be 5 bookings. I think there might even be a red, but I'm going to go 5 bookings.
Yeah, there's a little bit of.
Casemiro's
last
on
one, isn't there?
Casemiro.
Right, people at home, you can play us. You can get involved. Head over to coral.co.uk. Answer questions correctly to win cash prizes, but please gamble responsibly. Stewie D, that is it, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks very much.
I'm surprised you're not on Ibiza. What's the script, mate? You
I'm
normally
going next week.
You've got the gaff out there still.
Yeah. Go next week. I'm flying to the final and then going back.
Are you still doing all your DJing and bits and bobs?
Too old for that now. I've still got the decks in that.
We had Pat Nevin in. He's 20 years old now, so he's still DJing last week. Yeah.
His kids grown up, or?
Yeah, his kids are grown up.
Man,
Stewie Downing sliding.
All the house and stuff. Who
done the DJing at Chelsea's? Bill Blood, wasn't it? Bill Blood's revolving.
Bill Blood, DJ?
Yeah, he was a DJ. He was a wedding DJ before he became a masser.
He
was. Yeah, he was.
No way.
Bill Blood's revolving disco dance floor show. He had
getting that one out. You've got a few babies.
Apparently.
Was it a revolving floor?
Yeah, but no, he had listen, this was the 90s, Sid. He had the smoke machine and probably a couple of lights. I don't know.
What a guy, Bill Blood. Just a reminder, we've got the live show next Tuesday, so that will be coming out. Enjoy that. We've got 2 special guests coming on. I've just been told it's sold out, so
sold out.
I'm sure if there's extra tickets available,
on the black market,
you can get them. Joe will always know someone.
I know a geezer from Camden Market. You'll have to pay a little premium, but you'll be all right.
Look, Joey, thanks ever so much for coming on. Remember to find us on the Joe YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcast from. You have been listening to the greatest podcast on all the platforms. It is All To Play For, brought to you by Joe and Coral. We'll see you next time.
You've been watching All To Play For, brought to you by Joe and Coral.